Hey, Phoenix is rising. This is Coach T. And as always, I want to remind you before we begin that your blessings are in your ashes. All right. So this is going to be on the paid um, platform on the Substack because this is going to be on my occult, I don't even know what you call it, playlist, I guess. I'm still learning Substack. I'm still learning this stuff. But this was inspired by, and I have so much because once you awaken, phoenixes, I mean, like truly awaken. Pardon me. Once you awaken, uh, you start to question. Things start to. When the veil lifts, it doesn't mean that you get pretty to see pretty stuff. You get what people were telling you that you would be like, "Oh, too afraid to investigate for whatever reason." Um, you'll find that it's real. So, we're gonna talk about matrix glitches. This is podcast episode 9, and this is part 1. Today, we're diving into something that so many of us have noticed but rarely talk about in depth. The strange little glitches in reality. Maybe you've had deja vu that felt too exact, like you lived that moment before. Maybe technology freezes right when you're about to make progress. Maybe time itself feels like it's skipping, repeating, or stretching. We're going to break this down together, and I'm going to share, when I can, a few of my personal experiences without taking away from the uh, rest of the content. And we're also going to come from science to spirit. So you can understand what's really happening when the matrix slips or glitches. Deja vu and the brain. Let's start with the basics. Deja vu. The French word literally means already seen. From a science perspective, deja vu happens when your brain misfires between short-term memory and long-term memory. Instead of processing something as brand new, your mind accidentally routes it into the already experienced folder. So it feels like you've lived this exact moment before, even if you haven't. Layman's terms, it's like your brain is running 2 tabs open at once on your browser, and they overlap for a split second. And I've actually had that happen. Neurologists have found that it's connected to the temporal lobe, the part of the brain that processes memory and recognition. So yes, science has an explanation. But here's the kicker. Most people shrug it off. Yet empaths, sensitives, and spiritually aware people tend to notice it more often. Why? Because our perception isn't just wired to the physical, it's tuned into patterns, frequencies, and subtle disruptions. The glitch effect. Now, when people talk about glitches in the matrix, they're really describing anomalies in perception and time. Think of it like a video game. Most of the time, the coding runs smoothly. They've paid enough for it too. You walk forward, the world unfolds. But sometimes a piece of the code lags for whatever reason. You notice a repeat. You see something flicker. You catch the seam. So, a few more examples. You see someone walking ahead of you, then suddenly they're behind you, right? A clock skips a second. and you seem to be the only one who's noticed it, right? A word on the screen changes when you look back at it, right? Scientifically, this can be explained through time perception errors. Number one, your brain sometimes stitches moments out of order. Attention glitches. You miss a detail, then your brain fills it in differently the second time. Quantum perception. Some scientists argue reality itself may not be as continuous as we think. But here's where it gets interesting. While most people ignore these moments, sensitives like us recognize them as signals. We don't just chalk it up to bad memory. We know when something's off. Why empaths notice? Empaths and seers are tuned into energy fields, sorry. When reality hiccups, we pick it up like static on the radio. Your nervous system is a live antenna. So when time folds, when a pattern glitches, or when interference is running, you feel it. Side note from this, I was listening to a TikToker. He's an herbalist and a vegan. And he said, uh, there's hair not just on the outside of your body, there's hair on the inside of your body, your digestive system, right? Your heart. There's hair, okay? And so when the hair stands up on the back of your neck as a warning sign or on your arms, like mine, I've had my hair stand up. It's so hard when you've been around so much evil. You should have your own comic book. But anyway, and the hair, and the hair is standing up, right? I mean, and not only that, but my gut, I'll buckle like I'm going to vomit, and that's because there's hair inside the uh, uh, intestinal, from what he was saying. And so you're a receptor. Your hair is a receptor, and I will say this: when I have dealt with I can always tell when I am dealing with a disembodied human spirit because my hair will move. In this season, in this 15, 20-year season of being introduced to a deeper level of the occult, which has brought me to a deeper level in understanding of the Most High God in the universe, I've never noticed it, you see? I'm not gonna say I've never have, but I never put much attention into it because I was on one timeline. Even though I was really sensitive and I could basically what I was doing was taking things and naturally processing it because I have a way of knowing. I just, of these gifts. And so I just do what I'm supposed to do naturally because why? I am a seer. A seer means that my third eye is constantly picking up and analyzing and filtering information. That's why people would become uncomfortable around me, especially, when I from a little kid on up until an adult, because and as one lady told me, she goes, "Tennille, you have a way of no when you look at people, you're very beautiful. It's not that. It's just when you look at people, we know that you're seeing right through us, and it's uncomfortable." And that is stuck with me, and I was reminded about that again today. Um, and I'm not sure what I was doing, I don't remember, but so to have my and I have it all the time. That's when I know but now I'm hyper aware of it because that was part of my abuse was ritualistic occult abuse too, right? Where they were abusing, doing rituals, they were abusing, um, uh, you know, uh, astral projecting and whatnot. And that's another podcast that I'll get together on, put it on the witchy playlist. But I just wanted to say that. Uh, uh, and let you guys know it's like, we're feeling it. So that's the reason why your hair stands up. That's the reason why your gut tingles, you know what I mean? Um, is because you the hairs, this is everything's standing up at attention because the energy has shifted, the signal has shifted, and you're no longer safe, you're no longer home. So anyway, most people have a passing thought. Hmm, boy, that was weird. But you, the empath, the intuitive, experience a body level signal. Your chest tightens, your stomach knots, or you feel the cold shiver like spirit that just brushed past you. The sensitivity is not a weakness, it's data. And I have felt that too. Um, I I have a disembodied, fragmented human demonic spirit that is not passed away. It is still living and breathing. Um, but when every time, so I say my mantra and I say a certain mantra to ward off evil and in clearing your chakras too. So because these disembodied fragmented human spirits, whether in the complete spirit or in the flesh, a hybrid in the spirit and in the flesh, because you can have people who are alive who are stalking you and they've learned. I didn't realize how many people know how to leave their bodies and go exploring. I mean, they can do this during work. They can, you know what I mean? And I think to a certain degree, I have done it just unconsciously, right? I mean, not I'm not I've never been human conscious, but I've always been spiritual conscious, if that makes sense, right? Because we are spirit, mind, body. We are matter, ether, whatever. Okay. So I've been conscious that way. But now as in from a human quote perspective, it's different. But there's a lot of people who are who have engaged in if I can't uh if I can't be with you the way that I want to be with you, which is what this person has done. Then I'm going to find an anchor point, whether it be through your stomach, through through your sacral chakra, through your throat chakra, through your ankle chakras, and you do have knee chakras, and you have there's chakras all throughout your body. Just say for that, but you do have chakras on your ankles. And, so that person has tethered themselves somehow, probably maybe with a article of mine or something like that, but they come in through my ankle and they enter me. And when I remove them, they're psychotic, they're the whole kit and caboodle cluster B personality. And, they are very sociopathic. And I don't like this person in my energy, of course. And every time I've moved them, uh I have felt this freezing cold where there is heat, like I have the place that I lived in before, if I didn't have the fan on, it was hot. So there was no or muggy or whatever, so I could tell the difference that all of a sudden, literally, it feels like I stepped into a freezer. And this person is not deceased as far as I know. I haven't talked to her, never wanted to, and that was part of that was the narcissistic wound that she felt I gave her on purpose, even though she was discarding me. She thought that I was going to be spun in her web and keep playing and playing and playing. It's like, nope. When you reject me, I'm gone. So we just wanted to share that because I have had that come in that, chest tight and stomach knots, or you feel the cold shiver like spirit just brushed past you. And that is true. I mean, when my grandmother passed too, um, which was probably like going on, oh my gosh, 20 years ago. When she passed, and I felt that same thing. So, yeah. Okay. So here's where we'll pause for today, you guys, and give you something to think about, talk about, and we will get into part two. So here we've looked at deja vu, glitches, and how science frames them. But in our next part, we're going to move deeper into the occult layer of this phenomenon. Because sometimes these glitches aren't random. Sometimes they are engineered. Sometimes they are part of a spiritual interference, a tethering, a deliberate attempt to keep you looping in poverty consciousness or stuck in trauma. Don't go anywhere, stay tuned, and we'll unpack exactly how that works in part 2. All right. Thank you, Phoenix's Rising Academy. This is Coach T, and from the ashes we rise, from the soul we lead. And remember, I love you.